Rob, you after Frank Darby ran a specific route, you thanked Jesus.
Yeah.
What was it that you did correctly that made you?
You know, so it's just, you know, a technique that we use on deep balls, where we talk about squeezing the defender, getting back over the top, giving space for the quarterback to drop the ball between the receiver's outside shoulder and the sideline. And the more space that you create for the quarterback to drop the ball into that area, the higher percentage that pass is. Because as you know, that's the lowest percentage pass in football is, you know, just rearing back and chunking it deep. So you try to do everything that you can to turn it into a low percentage route to a high percentage throw. And the way you do that, the receiver's got to help the quarterback out, and he's got to get back, and he's got to create space for the quarterback to drop the ball into.
So with that said, how has the route running or execution been from that group?
Yeah, you know, the last 2 days have great improvement. The one-on-ones that we had yesterday were the best that we've had since I've been here. And I don't even think it was close. You know, just not the result of whether we caught it or not. It was the receivers understanding the exact type of release that goes with that route concept. Because you can use a great release, but it's a wrong release compared to whether it's an intermediate, short, or long throw. And they were just all on the same page yesterday and did everything right, and it was really good. Matter of fact, we took our time to watch it as an offense, that one-on-one yesterday, because it was so good, and just, okay, guys, this is what can happen if everybody's on the right page and you do it the right way.
How is Jordan Porter in particular progressing?
Yes, doing good. You know, Jordan, the thing that he just needs to realize with guys that are really fast is that's your greatest weapon is your speed. How do I use my speed to my advantage on this route, this route, this route, this route? It all depends on which route it is. You may use it differently. And so he needs to understand, hey man, my speed is my greatest weapon, and then how do I maximize that in the route concept? And he's learning. Did a great job yesterday. Wow, we've gone 3 minutes or 4 minutes without a quarterback question. That's unbelievable.
How have they progressed in your meeting rooms and just absorbing all the information that you're giving them?
Yeah, they've done a decent job. There's times I'm a little disappointed because I think they should have gotten something that they didn't, but they correct it the next day, which is a really good sign. And so, you know, that's when they're going to start separating themselves, when a guy can go from the meeting and then go and operate it out on the field. And how quick can that happen? And so that's one of the areas I'm looking for them to start separating themselves, is who can do that the quickest. And, you know, when they get out there, they got to make the offense look good. There's a couple phases a quarterback, you know, they're going to separate themselves physically, all right, by arm strength, accuracy. They're going to separate themselves mentally, coverage recognition, just what I talked about, going from the meeting room out onto the field, and then they'll separate themselves when we start moving the ball, and operationally, you know, who can move the offense? What does the offense look like when they're the guy behind the center? So those are kind of like the 3 areas they'll start separating themselves.
Now with the pads on, I know last week you said, I was just trying to see, how do you feel with the speed of the pads on, that they take the steps on the field that encourage you?
Yeah, you know, because now the pass rush is a little more realistic, and the guys are coming a little bit harder, because they can protect themselves. So there's more violent, there's more noise. You know, the hitting of the shoulder pads, the helmets, it's all around you. You know, you got shoulder pads on. The throws are different, all of that. And I'm very pleased with them as a group, and then specifically a couple guys I'm not going to name right now, but I'm pleased with just their ability to stay in the pocket and not feel all of that pressure. And, you know, that's what I tell those guys all the time. You asked me, I can compare to with Jared Goff because I was there and I saw it. So, one of the things that made him special was Jared never looked at the rush. He just always, everything was downfield, and he didn't care if he got hit. And that's the sign of a great quarterback. I mean, if you're afraid to get sacked, you're never going to be a great quarterback. And so the only way, you know, you're going to get good at that is to get all that noise and banging and all that crap going on around him.
Has anything surprised you collectively about the quarterback so far in spring?
It doesn't surprise, nothing's really surprised me. However, I have seen what I thought was there, and that was their competitiveness. And I saw it in a drill, which I thought was really kind of funny. We're trying to throw drop net throws, corner routes, and I think we went 0 for 16 over here to the right. Then we went over to the left, and they were starting again. And then Jaden hit one. Then he hit his second. And then Joey stepped up and was like, okay. And then he made his two. And then Ethan stepped up, and then he made his. So it was like they feed off of each other, and they're out there competing, and they want to win the job, which, you know, and that's what we all expected when we got these guys.
I would assume that you're trying to see how quickly they can improve and what that rate of development looks like, and then maybe projecting that out. So are there any early signs about that?
You know, it's kind of hard. The way we're doing it is I'm convinced it's absolutely the best way we're doing it, and still it's tough because, you know, there's 4 of them, you know, and so no, you're trying to trap me and get me to say something and say something. I'm not going to do it. So, but I am pleased with their development, and there is some areas, and some guys are separating themselves a little bit here and there.
Go back to Darby for a minute. I mean, we've seen what he can do on the deep ball. Is there a role for him in more intermediate pass?
And that is exactly what we've talked to him about this spring. That's what this whole spring is about for him. He needs to become a guy that you're not asking that question about in the fall. Like, you know, you're known as a deep ball guy. I mean, that's great, but you got to be able to run digs and outs and corner outs and slants, and you got to be able to do that. And he has done that. He's getting a lot better at that. I've seen some great improvement in that, especially in one-on-ones versus man coverage. And it's all a mindset. It's a development process on the wide receiver's part. They got to put their thought process together and have a pre-snap thought process before the ball is ever snapped. Receivers can't wait till the ball snapped, then figure out what kind of release I'm going to do. You can't do that. You got to know beforehand, then execute it. And I think that's where he's getting better at. And Coach Fisher's done a really, really good job at that, just getting his mind right.
Are there things that Eno can do from a skill development standpoint that can make it more difficult for defenses to prepare for him? Catching the ball in the flat or...
Yes, and we talked about that, him working on his pass route, and I'm so pleased with Eno right now, the way he's practicing his pass routes, not only just his routes out of the backfield, but yes, I mean, I would love to get to a point where we can be in empty, we can be in 21 personnel, empty and then together and then out, and relying on our running backs to be pass catchers and route runners. Yes, he can help us.
The offensive line too, I mean, obviously in the past, blocking defense more, I mean, from last year to this year, I know obviously more time around. How do you feel that their development is early in the spring?
I feel pretty good where they're at right now. There's a couple guys. I'm not going to mention their names, and they just need to get more aggressive and more tougher. They know who they are because I've singled them out and talked to them about it. And they need to pick it up for us to be successful in the long run. But the guys that are returning, Cole's done an amazing job. Just leading the offense and taking a leadership role. He has totally stepped up and done that, and texting me at nighttime. And if I want a message to the offensive line, all I got to do is tell him, and he gets the message, and he gets the message out to the guys. So in that area, I'm really pleased in the leadership role. And we just got a couple guys that just need to just get a little more aggressive, that's all. And I think we'll be fine up there with our starting group.
Everybody good?
Thanks, guys.